Hi guys, it's Cat Chat again, and this time we have the friends from Moonkin Monthly to talk about who won pre-patch. So again, we have Zan as normal, we have Tettles.
Yes, hello, it's me, Tettles. I'm a Raider and AK, Balance Mod, Wowhead Guide Writer, Moonkin Extraordinaire.
And we have Nick, who's German.
Hello. Wow. All right. Yeah, I'm Nick, also an expert. I don't know anything else.
Both of them normally feature on Moonkin Monthly, but today they're joining us. Well, because we don't have much to talk about other than who's better in pre-patch, and I think it's pretty clear who's better in pre-patch, to be honest. Like,
What are you trying to say?
Owls,
Obviously,
hello.
Moonkin.
Oh my god. Well, there's probably gonna be some disagreement here. But
I mean, don't you see all the Moonkins rerolling to Feral?
hello, yeah, Gapezilla. Shout out to Gapezilla re-rolling to Feral. Gas Tank.
Oh my
What to
god.
think about?
Gas Tank is Guardian, please don't play him.
That's like Feral.
Okay.
I mean, it is. It used to be Feral. But Zan, what are your thoughts on Feral basically being walking Golgonaths?
I mean, you just need to be skilled. And
Dude, doesn't the rank 1 Garathi parse literally have like 8 or 9 Golgonaths procs? And he's like he's a Feral Druid, right?
He
It's
has
like, what the
24% or something. It's actually insane. I mean, don't get me wrong, Moonkin might be awful single target and doesn't do any damage. Just generally a terrible spec, but at least you're not a walking trinket.
Dude, okay. Moonkin
We're like a turret right now.
Yeah, no, Moonkin single target was awful, and then we decided that Emerald Dreamcatcher was good again.
And then Bora
Mhm.
leaked it.
Bora didn't leak anything. Fixed simulation craft module, and then it was like, oh, wait, you can actually keep 100% uptime. I was like, okay, never mind. This fucking legendary is good again.
How are you enjoying that on Argus?
It's actually not that bad on Argus, to be honest.
Are there
I
any
tried
bosses
on
that's particularly
Agrimar
bad?
one pull and was like, oh, I'm taking this off. That's gonna be a no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a big old yikes. But at least your Bis weapon at the moment isn't literally a cosmetic weapon. So you have that going for you.
I mean, only because it has agility on it, right? not because of anything else.
Zan, were you lucky enough to get the scythe?
yes,
Okay, so you get to
it's
enjoy
pretty good.
the big.
Is it
golden
Titan
heads.
Forge though?
It's not Titan Forge.
Oh,
Unlucky.
Oh
unfortunate.
my
It's mythic
God.
at least, but
Yeah, I have 2 of them. They just happen to be on my monk, which is less than ideal.
Imagine if it was 270.
Yeah, that
So it
would
would
be.
be
Our tank
farming rank
on
ones.
270.
I mean, in order to farm rank ones, that have to raid.
Wait,
That's
Zan, are
correct.
you not raiding now?
No, Zan is. I'm not.
Oh.
Zan's enjoying the big Goldan boost life.
Oh. Making that fat gold.
bad stacks, yeah.
the big old 1 million gold. But right, okay. Boomkin.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sucks.
Moving moving away from pre-patch for just half a second. Are you guys looking forward to? You might not be a walking trinket at the moment, but you're going to be a walking 3 Azerite traits in Mythic Plus. In
Oh,
PvP.
dude,
Oh my
okay.
God.
Alright. Lunar Shrapnel doing 30% of our damage per trait on multi-target might actually be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It is.
So currently you don't even Starfall on 2 targets because it's not worth. But if you have Lunar Shrapnel traits, then you begin Starfalling on 2 targets. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I saw some Sims faces. It's like a 20% damage increase if you've got.
No, it's over 25. It's like 28. It's like, okay.
So
Meanwhile,
away.
our Azerite trait that's supposed to do AoE doesn't even work.
feels
No,
amazing,
one
man.
week.
That's the
Wild
Thrash
Flesh
Shred
and-
one, isn't it? Yeah, that's a big old yikes.
Wait, what is it supposed to do?
When you have Thrash on a target, your AoE abilities and Shred as well deal bonus damage.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
But
Well, it is because it literally
it
doesn't
doesn't
work.
do
Okay.
anything, dude.
It sounds like it should be good.
Well, I mean that's all down to tuning. Weirdly, it's probably going to end up good on single target as well, or at least usable on single target, because Shred is a garbage ability and Thrash is a only slightly less garbage ability. So that's exciting. As any
Did we
ferals
ever-
playing pre-patch know, Thrash single target is the big value at the moment.
Did we ever check and see if shrapnel single target was a thing?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was memeing about bad build version 2.0.
Yeah, no.
Let's,
Downs has some
not-
weird thing.
What weird
don't want
weird
that to
traits or?
happen.
Just the class itself is always weird because there's also that high noon. Like, if you have like triple high noon trait, it's worth for you to like spam Sunfire, and it's like almost net even damage from like a normal rotation.
Oh my
like,
god,
wait.
your spec is so bad.
We are close to Sunfire or Moonfire spamming again. Like
Yeah.
super close. It's so sad.
Right, so this episode was supposed to be about who won pre-patch, but it's very rapidly becoming about
Who's
the
losing
worst
beta?
off. Fucking the race to the bottom right now.
Did you guys?
24 to 24.
Yeah. Have you guys? Did you guys do the beta testing or whatever Friday?
Didn't do any beta tasting on Friday. Which bosses was it?
It was Fetid, Zekvaz, and Mother.
Heroic,
Mother
that is.
looks like it will be not so hot. I know Zan's done
Yeah.
more beta testing than I have on bosses. Were there any bosses in particular you thought were going to be good or bad or?
I mean, I don't know if I would say any boss is like amazing. So I mean, I feel like the only thing Feral does in BFA at the moment is tunneling single target on. So you know,
I mean,
I
it should be
guess
good
it's
in
average everywhere, right? But it's
Yeah.
nothing that amazing.
It should be good in single target. I mean, then it should be good in Uldir, right? Because there are a lot of single target and two target bosses.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
it's basically EN again.
It doesn't feel
It
bad.
is. It's literally EN, yeah.
And Feral is in a similar position to EN, which I'm okay with. Feral was okay in EN. M plus is going to be kind of Monker-esque, but hey, that's what Guardian is for.
I mean, you're a melee.
What, you mean you don't enjoy being one-shot by random cleave damage?
I mean, there's only so many mechanics you can implement on trash, and half of them happen to be conal frontal abilities. So if your tank moves in the wrong direction, you just die.
It's fine. I've basically seen the future, and I've gone, do you know what? Maybe I'll join a Mythic Plus group as a tank.
Ooh, not as Guardian though.
As Guardian, so,
Oh, Frank, nice try.
yeah. I haven't decided what drug of choice is going to be for M+, but
How's Guilty feeling? He seems like he'd be a
Guilty
better
in the
tank.
Guilty is in the bin, dude. Blackout Kick
Dude.
exists.
Windwalker looks insane, and Brewmaster might be the best tank.
Brewmaster looks insane, but Windwalker looks mind-numbingly boring.
Oh, really?
Like, the rotation boils down to Fist of Fury, nah, fuck that ability. Rising Sun Kick, nah, fuck that too. Blackout Kick. It's like that fucking meme, slaps the roof of Windwalker. This baby can fit in so many blackout kicks.
Oh my goodness. So
Getting
what
back
would you
to,
change about Feral, like in,
What would I change
in
about
beta
Feral?
right now? Yeah, like what's wrong with it?
I mean, I've talked about this, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, but basically, we don't have any burst.
Okay.
Our OA is mediocre. Our
Yeah,
single
right.
target, while seemingly okay, is kind of rigid.
Okay.
We've got good mobility.
What? Yeah, like what are you good at?
Could you think of any other positives, Zan?
I mean, like it's okay, I guess, on single target and like two targets. That kind of thing is okay.
I mean, you have decent utility too.
Good
wait,
mobility
wait.
for sure.
Hold up. Decent utility? This is this fucking Boom King stampeding roar at
I mean-
MV.
Yeah.
This entire expansion, Boomkin's just hard fiending after stampeding roar.
I want that ability.
Meanwhile, Feral's like, Bears, you know, we have this ability too? Oh,
I would use it. Hello.
Yeah, the personal, dude.
Plus what? Hello.
It's real fun. Like on bosses we have to spit out, you're like, yeah, stampeding roar. And they didn't get anyone. Sick dash 2.0, I guess.
Slightly
I mean,
more
okay,
range
you
now.
have good
Yeah,
utility,
yeah,
like good utility though.
The range got buffed. The range is nice now. It's what, 18 yards with balance affinity? I can live with that.
Sounds right.
That's not bad.
But hey, innovate.
Let's
Awful.
not talk about it.
Dude, why is it on the GCD?
That's
Yeah.
such a baffling
It's
decision. It makes
so
no
sad.
sense.
It's like 12 seconds, but now it's on the GCD, and it's like my healers will call for it, and I'll be like, I'm gonna innervate you, but I'm gonna be salty if you don't use this well.
Yeah, we were discussing a weak aura, weren't we? So you could track how much mana your healer saved, and retroactively flame them if they inofficially used your GCD.
Jesus.
You had to move there? Why didn't you think of that?
Use a fucking instant, dude.
I don't know. Every time I cast Rebirth on beta, I want to kill myself as well.
Oh,
Oh.
does it shift you out of form?
No,
What does it do?
you can still cast it, but you're in cat form, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
Low key though.
Okay, so it's just the 2.5 second cast
Yeah,
or whatever wall and
but
cap.
Bear,
Oh, okay.
Bear doesn't have to cast it. It just costs Bear rage, right?
I
so,
would.
So low key, Resto Druids were talking about. I wonder if it would just be worth it to go into Bear, generate the rage, and then res like that.
Well, how much rage is it? Like, because if you instant.
15, I think. I'm not sure if it's 15 or 10.
Oh, okay. So no.
30.
So swapping.
30
it-
on live right now.
It's 30.
Okay,
is
so
it?
never mind. Not worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you shift and you instantly have.
Maybe
20,
if you've
I
got
think.
if you've got mobility, like if you're walking.
I don't think it's worth it anymore.
It's not worth. But it's
It's
really
close.
awkward.
It's close enough to be worth, which is a little worrying.
I mean, the issue is actually that it costs 10 more rage than you shift into bear form with.
Yeah, so you need to
can't,
actually
like,
generate the
instantly
rage.
cast it.
Feels bad, man. I
It's
mean,
a single mango now.
yeah. So if you had to move, then it'd be worth it.
Yeah, well, because then it would only be 2 GCDs
Versus
or
having
whatever.
to move
Okay,
and then
so like
cast
if yeah, it's so fucking lame.
it. Having to.
That must be the dumbest design decision they made. Like, I don't understand the point of it at all.
I
I
don't
don't know about
understand
you.
why they're giving
Yeah.
utility costs. It's actually.
GCD on wild charge hit me pretty hard. Not gonna lie.
That is also dumb.
Yeah.
I like it's so short as well. But
Why is it
the
a
fact that
0.5 GCD? It's literally
the
just
fact
there to
that you
fuck
Just
you.
so I
use
can't
it.
cast an instant cast and then
Yeah,
pop
but
it. Like
that's
what
one
the
thing,
hell?
right? But you can't use it while you have a ECD. That is like the most tilting thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
for sure. Okay. Also, what the dumbest thing is like you can't shift forms and then insta pop it with the other form. I'm like, please.
Just wanting to die. At least you can cancel form and cast it quickly still. That's a small mercy.
God, I was worried that I was
Dude,
gonna
imagine
want to.
if they put cancel form on a fucking GCD. Oh Jesus.
Don't give them any idea.
So sometimes my brain
It
man
requires a
worries me.
GCD to cancel aura now.
I mean, you had some
That-
real weirdness with your cancel auras for Star Lord,
Broken.
didn't you?
Yeah.
It's not a damage gain. It's just broken right now.
There wasn't Gas Tank looking at something whereby cancelling Star Lord was a DPS game.
It wasn't a DPS game, but then we figured out like it was like close. It was like really close. It was like the same damage, but you had to cancel aura. But then we realized that you couldn't even cancel aura 100% of the time. It's like okay.
I mean, that was some real degenerate shit when I was reading that. Having to worry about whether cancelling your buffs was a DPS gain.
The cancel order thing is actually it's not a druid specific thing.
No,
but
it's
I know,
general.
Yeah, but I know that like Brewmaster couldn't click off the Iron Skin Brew and just randomly survived a Scythe on Argus. Like that's amazing.
Did you have some experience with that?
Good game design right there, Bliss.
I'm trying to wonder which of the monks it was who survived it. Was it Demi or Deli?
I don't remember. I don't remember the situation. I just remember that like it literally didn't work. Cancel.
That's a feels bad, man. Having to plan ahead when your fucking active mitigation is gonna fall off. I don't know,
So-
man.
So how is Feral actually doing in pre-patch, like damage-wise?
I mean, we seem okay. We seem like we're spanking.
So yeah, single target. I would say we are pretty good actually in pre-patch.
Mhm.
Like even with no randomness, it says like probably I don't know top quarter ish of spec.
Which is kind of where
But
we usually sit.
with Golganath, like you can just go to the top really easily if you're lucky. So
Okay. Dude, what is up with all the melee classes? I feel like all the melee classes just do so much damage right now. Like
I feel
even
like
in the
that happens
beta
a lot
too.
of the time. Like at the start of
happens, like-
EN, melee classes
Yeah.
smacked as well. Other than like Shadow Priest is the big exception. Like
I'm fine, man.
and Fire Mages, yeah, fair enough. Fire Mages smacked. But like
You-
as a general rule, I mean, As a melee player, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah,
Um,
no, literally all the melee specs are like just smacking, and then like even in beta, none of the ranged DPS except for like Frost Mage are abnormally strong.
I mean, we talked about this back in Legion, and people sort of guessed that it was because everyone wants to take range to raids anyway, just because range is such a huge advantage. The Blizzard were basically trying to say, yeah, fuck you, take melee too.
All right. Caveat: I'm mega
Apart from
salty
Gul'dan.
that. Okay, I'm really salty that ranged players don't get like a bonus like damage increase, where like because ferals are appropriately tuned to where if they have to be off the boss ever, then they're able to like catch back up in damage. But like ranged DPS, like if they ever like miss casts and shit, they're like sitting at the bottom of the damage meter. It's like, okay, please.
I mean, that's the cost of playing a spec where you're constantly casting.
All right, but why do I do the same damage as a BM hunter that has an infinite mobility? Hello?
Okay, let's
Like,
not talk about
please.
BM hunters. BM hunters are some fucking clowny shit.
Like beam hunters, it doesn't make any sense. It's like a range that has melee mechanics.
It's
like,
literally
okay.
like, yeah, it's got all the advantages of both the specs and does
I mean,
decent
Holy
damage.
Paladin's bullshit too. Hello?
I mean, yeah, let's not talk about how fucking healers are just blasting at the moment.
Yeah.
That's some... Yeah. What do you think about double healer in BFA M+.
I don't even think. I don't want to think
Wait.
about that yet.
Is that a thing now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
dude.
actually. Oh my god.
You
Double
run
tank, double healer.
Yeah.
Vengeance Demon Hunter. Hold on. It gets better than this. You run double Vengeance Demon Hunter, double healer, and then you run a Moonkin or a Frost Mage, and then it's like, what the
they
fuck?
just do AoE with Lunar Shrapnel.
Yeah.
That sounds so
Hard.
stupid.
It's like a fucking Overwatch comp at the moment. Like, genuinely. Like, if it was 6-man, it would legitimately be an Overwatch comp. 2 tanks, 2 healers, 2 DPS. Easy, dude. Who's Reinhardt here?
So do we think that melee is just going to be brokenly strong in Uldir? Do you think we're gonna, or do you think they'll like balance it a little bit more
I
appropriately?
think they balance it a little more. I think melee probably. I think more melee specs will probably be in the upper quartile, but I think in the end it will be reasonably balanced.
Aren't melee specs most of the time in the upper quartile? Like,
In this expansion, they have been.
okay. I mean, obviously there's like, I don't know, Affliction Lock's been on top, but it's hard to gauge a lot of the time
Like,
because
there's the standard. There's the hunters, the affliction warlocks, the mages.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically, if you're pure, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the basic.
I guess Moonkin, Shadow Priest, Ellie are the only. Am I missing one? Non-ranged, no, ranged non-pures.
Priest, Moon, Canelli, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. And then for melee you got Holy Pally, or not Holy Pally, Ret Pal, Holy Pally. You have Ret Paladin, Feral. What else you got?
Pretty
I mean,
insip
almost
there.
I
all
don't know
I
how
had.
Warriors count.
Yeah,
Like
almost.
Warriors, Windwalker, Havoc.
Yeah, because all the
Unholy
tanking
and Frost.
specs have a melee at least.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's only Rogues is pure for melee.
and they
Rogue
usually
is
blast
such a
anyway.
disgusting class.
Yeah.
At least Feint has. I mean, I don't know about at least, but Feint has a CD now at least.
Oh, thank God, 15 seconds.
I mean, we were talking about this before. I don't think it makes a huge difference. Like, it means you have to time it better. But how often do you have to feint something twice in a row?
Avatar?
Nah, you didn't need to feint twice
You
in a row.
can do it on
Not
Avatar.
twice in a row, no.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just had to-
really?
I mean, apart from when it was just bugged as fuck, and you could feint and just stand in whatever the swirly stuff was, and it
Yeah,
did, like,
no, whenever you
20k
stand in the
damage.
swirlies, you would just like spam it on cooldown, right?
Yeah, but that was just
Yeah.
a disgusting bug. That was actually the silliest thing, though. I remember playing Rogue and
allowed
just
to
being
stay
like,
for entire progression, of course, because
Yeah.
it's a rogue bug. So
Alright, what class won pre-patch? What about that?
what
do we
class
think?
one pre-patch? Are we counting promises or not?
No. I still think Red Paladin's disgusting.
That shit was so stupid.
That was. Didn't that happen in Legion pre? No, it didn't happen in Legion pre-patch. But I
Oh,
swear
dude,
that's happened
Demon
before.
Demon Hunter is dumb as fuck too.
Dude, have you seen this glaives thing? They found
No.
some set of glaives, like blue, eye level 180 or something, that just gives them 500 AP whenever they fight demons.
Oh my
What the
god.
fuck?
Actually, just like a 15% DPS gain
yeah,
over
it's from the
artifact.
pre-patch. Yeah, it's from the pre-patch. The last pre-patch, the into Legion
Yeah.
pre-patch.
Like, So
on theme.
Demon Hunters are abusing some buggy shit as well.
Okay, so what do we think about class-specific buffs, though? In like, speaking of demon hunters, because they
Oh,
have the
God.
magic buff.
It's
It's
so
like, oh my god.
like we've talked about this in the previous episode. It's so bad. It just like the other buffs aren't too bad because at least you have the scrolls. So if you just get completely scammed out of a class, you can just use the scroll. But like
I'm
those
sorry,
are
but
full
like,
scam.
why did they? So why did they give one of few really long AOE stuns plus a damage debuff to Windwalker?
Who the
Like what was the thought process there? Like, yeah, this class is really struggling in M+, so let's give it all the like good M+ utility.
I don't understand their thought process when okay, so if all classes had a buff, okay, I can kind of understand it. I
which
think
is
it's
how
a-
it worked at BlizzCon.
No,
I think you should just give like 3 classes one, so you don't end up
Which
stacking
is
one class.
what
or
it was
like
like
yeah,
in Moth,
like-
yeah.
1 for 1 buff.
I think that's reasonable.
So you end up having like, I don't know, Shaman, Druid, and whatever, which give you like, I don't know, ability power or some shit,
But the thing is, like,
as an example.
the giving one buff to each class added up with how they wanted BFA roles to be. Like or not BFA, but Mythic roles to be. They wanted you to have one of each class. Hence, like BRF, whatever that fight was that needed the Shadow Priest.
I mean, and
But
you're
like,
gonna want to bring one of every class, like as is, anyways, right?
but like how it is now, like it actually just makes no sense. Especially, honestly, the classes which got the damage buffs, like DH and Monk.
Holy shit!
Like Monk, I
Yeah,
can
no.
kind of see. Okay, Monk has insane and plus utility now, but
I mean,
Monk
it's
hasn't traditionally been taken a shit ton. Other than
My
like,
issue
they're,
is that
like,
they're
OP.
melee classes.
I mean, what they really should have done is given the melee buff to a ranged, and then given the ranged buff to a melee.
How it used to be back in the days, by the way.
Yeah.
The physical debuff was like a Warlock Curse, I think,
Yeah, Curse of
and
Weakness.
the magic one was from
But like, but I guess Warlocks did have a ranged buff as well. They had Curse of Elements, didn't they?
yeah, but that's further
Yeah,
back, but yeah.
But like, give one to each, so you had to take one of either. But just giving them both to melee is just full clown.
I mean, that's gonna limit your melee spots by a ton.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna hurt Feral like really, really bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many spots that are taken up. There's what
Yeah.
five class buffs. So there's the 5 class buffs, which will always be in.
There's int AP,
For
Int, AP, stamina,
obviously heroes.
yeah. But there's a few classes to provide that. You can get that
There's
with
one
the mage.
more, right? I feel like there's one more. No, I guess there isn't. There's this.
no, I think it's 5 total.
Yeah.
Yeah. Including the damage buffs.
Int,
But,
AP,
like,
stam, and then fizz damage, magic damage. There's 5 slots
So-
already taken. Then 2 tanks, so 7 slots
yeah.
already taken. And then what?
well,
Let's say
Can't-
theoretically 5 healers, 4 healers. So already half of your raid is taken up by stuff that's literally mandatory.
yeah. Well, hold on. Can't you get the damage buff from healer specs? Like, can
From Miss
You
Uh,
can, yeah,
Brewmaster or Mistweaver put it on?
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, so Mistweaver
Which
looks
is
pretty
fair
good.
enough.
Brewmaster looks pretty good. So Windwalker's not going to be mandatory from that regard, right?
Honestly, Vengeance
Like
Demon Hunter looks
always.
decent as well.
But Havoc is.
Oh, okay.
right.
No, Havoc's mandatory. Vengeance Demon Hunter's a trash.
Wait, really? I thought
Yeah,
they were
like you
looking
can't
okay.
rely. No, but you can't rely ever on one
That's
specific
fair,
tank
yeah.
spec being viable.
That's fair.
So even in that case, even if Vengeance was good right now, like it might not be patch 2, right?
But like you're
I mean,
looking from
so realistically, like 3 to 4 of your slots are literally just mandatorily taken up by DPS.
Yeah.
DPS or healers, right?
yeah, like
And then
potentially half your raid, potentially a bit less, but potentially half your raid is literally just taken up by mandatory shit.
yeah, and then you have like hybrids where it's like, okay, maybe I'll fit in
And
somewhere
then you have
with my
like
utility.
rogues, and you've got immunities.
Get you-
Hey,
I mean,
this
the
one
mage's
spot
fault-
right here.
I don't understand how mages got in.
How did
How did
mages
this
get a
happen?
buff? Like
How did that happen?
the class fantasy of arcane intellect, I guess. But like,
I don't understand how. Like, why do anyone think the Druid utility is so good that we can't get a buff?
Okay. So Druid utility is really good, but that's only because of the tier 60 trait, like talent row with mass entangling, typhoon, and mighty vet. It's
I mean,
not
that's
because
super
it's like,
situational.
I mean, it's situationally broken though. It's not. Let's not like.
Sure, but compare utility to
To ice
mages.
block.
or rogues.
Yeah. immunities are situational utility too,
But like mages also have
Yes.
Ring of Frost.
all right. The class has a lot, alright? I get
Right, okay,
justified.
mages are stupid.
And
Dude,
Heroism, by the way.
and
But that's
Heroism,
it
yeah.
more
Mage,
whatever.
what doesn't Mage have actually? It's got a buff. It's got an immunity. It's got
Well,
an
it
AoE
doesn't have a
CC.
combat res
What
yet.
was that?
It doesn't
what
have
was
a
that
combat
AoE
res
damage
yet.
reduction that it used to have? Back in Blackrock Foundry. What was it? It was like. It was
What?
the magic damage reduction. I don't remember what it was
Oh
called.
my god, Dampen Magic?
Yeah,
Amplify.
that and
They
anti-magic
had
zone
Amp
got
Magic and
deleted.
Damper Magic, didn't they?
Yeah,
One
Amp Magic
increased
was...
all magic, the
They
other decreased
introduced
all.
Amp Magic
Yeah,
in respect
dude,
as
well,
a fox.
Imagine if
Yeah.
that came back too.
Oh my god, Fox. Can you remember Fox?
Aspect of the fox. I remember when it got deleted. I didn't start playing until like Blackrock.
So basically, I don't know if you saw this because you're a new boy, but method strat in BRF was basically just stack hunters and boomkins
Actually,
and just
it was
spam.
rapid eye movement, but I
Yeah.
guess that's
Was it?
That was-
Oh yeah, rapid eye. Yeah, stack aspect of fox and whatever that other shitty ability was, stampeding roar, and just run around in a circle to avoid the mechanics, all while fully casting.
Has there ever been a tier where Feral is actually desirable to bring?
Mr. Pandaria, Siege of Orgrimmar. I mean, EN.
like I would
Okay.
say in MOP was fine in general, but
Yeah.
it's different in 25 man. It always was because in
Yeah.
25 you have a lot more slots in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
But like in MOP we had stuff like Heart of the Wild Trank, right? Like that's a massive thing.
yeah, Heart of the Wild Vengeance
Mhm.
abuse. There was some big Pogger stuff.
Yeah, no, balance is weird because it gets like occasionally viable, and it's always middle of the
Occasionally
pack.
viable.
Yeah, but that's
Dude,
that's
okay.
basically
Blackrock Foundry was like, wow, this class is broken.
Blackrock
And then it was like-
Foundry. To
Hellfire Citadel is pretty good too. And then it was like, okay, Tomb of Sargeras comes around.
It's weird. Balanced. Okay, so this is going to be hard flame right now. Balanced Druid players always constantly complain about their class, right? And yet they're one of the most consistently viable hybrids. Like,
Alright,
of the
dude,
pure hybrids.
Look at Antora's single target damage. I can't even hit the fucking boss
Yeah,
for
but
like.
yeah, but there were no single target in Tourist that mattered, right?
And even
Like,
with you being
Argus.
good at single
Argus.
target, there was
Argus,
still,
sure.
like, the world first kill still had a fucking boomkin. Like, has there been a single fight, a single end
I think
boss
the
kill
issue.
this expansion?
I think the issue lies with balanced players are like weirdly loyal to the class.
I mean, that's probably fair enough. I mean, that's fair enough, I guess. I think that applies for other specs as well, but
Well,
I feel like almost all
players are
hybrids
also
have-
weirdly loyal, but Feral probably
feral
has. Like,
players are like, I'm fucking done, dude. I'm playing Rogue.
I mean, okay, so Feral's
What
been like
DH?
awesome for 2 full expansions almost at this point, I think.
We just fucking ditch hardcore. Apart from
And
Zan.
then-
Zan is just
okay,
like the most loyal motherfucker.
And then I don't know, man. The class also has like a third the representation, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, balance is like the 4th or 5th most played
it
damage
is
spec.
crazy, yeah. Balance is just constantly good.
I mean, they just make it viable. It's okay.
That's
I'm not
actually
complaining, but
that's a real issue with melee, though. I think like, well, there's tons more melee specs, which
Yeah.
means
There's so
you
much
know,
competition for your
there's a
spot.
lot of like people that just play warrior, for example, or just play rogue, or just play, well, now there's havoc, or just play ret. And I mean, so it just becomes this thing where, well, you can play Pharaoh, but there's no, like, ret is kind of in a similar boat. Like, yeah, it has bubble, but it's one of those, well, this is mostly just brought because you
Because
had
we have a good
ret
player
player
who-
laying
yeah.
around, and it's an okay ring.
I mean, that's
Like
an entirely fair
that's
statement,
true
yeah.
for most specs, melee specs. I'm not trying to flame ret specifically. It's one of those cases where it's like, well, except for rogues, which you bring because you need to soak this thing, right? And you must have 4 rogues or whatever to do this fight, which happens occasionally. Like mostly, you just bring whatever you have whenever it's decent. I think
Yeah.
it's not like
Shout out to Euris.
it's not. Yeah, it's not like you bring it because of any specific reasons most of the time. I don't think it.
Yeah.
Because it's rare that there's any melee utility that is that impact, except mass grip, I guess. Back when
Yeah.
DKS said that.
I mean, I mentioned Euris again, yeah. I just wanna shout out and complain that he made me play healer in Mythic Plus because he failed to get top 3 in Emerald Nightmare. So I'm definitely not still holding a grudge about that.
No.
do you think that it should be bumped back up to 25 man?
Nah. Oh my. Have you tried recruiting in a guild at the moment, or like officering in a guild?
I
26 players.
I do think so. Yes, actually. I think the 20-man never really like I think 20-man was like a compromise because 10-man players were rightfully salty about that, honestly. But I think 25-man was always the better format. That's just my opinion.
I feel like 20 man's like a weird in between. So 10 man you just have everybody play flavor of the month classes, which kind of blows ass for people who don't want to reroll, but eventually they'll kill the boss, right?
Basically.
And then 25 is like it increases viability of classes as a whole.
Well,
But then
just because there's
20
more
is
spots
just-
available, yeah.
20 is somewhere in between because it's like they expect you to have one of every class, but at the same time you have the class stack, so it's like, wait, what?
What also was a thing back then, obviously, when we had 25-man, so that's MOP and earlier, was that basically there were so many different buffs and debuffs, including a lot
Yeah,
of
you
stuff that
couldn't
were
class stack.
specs. So you basically wanted relatively diverse comps, as a baseline. Then you had still like 6 slots maybe or
I
something.
agree.
That was
Comps were
flexible.
way more diverse back in 25.
That's a big thing.
I think BFA even is going to lead to some way under diverse comps. That was a weird way of phrasing that, but with the way personal loot works, I think it's going to be super fucking easy to just class stack the shit out of your raid. Because like, especially healers, like you just run all of your healer specs through heroic first week, and then second week you're like, well, this fight is really good with paladins. I guess we'll just run 4 paladins because all of our healers will have relatively equally geared paladins.
I think Druid's viability got increased by a lot by personal loot changes, which is awkward.
How do you mean? Other than the fact that we're leather, I think us being
Yeah.
leather is like super low key. It was,
Yeah, no, leather.
It was way better when you could
like
trade.
malwares are dead.
Yeah.
Like you're going to bring one like restoration shaman because they don't even need gear anyways, and then you're just done, right? You just don't even bring mail.
Hunters are the biggest fucking scam because hunters obviously you can't trade Azerite anymore.
You can't trade
Any of it.
weapons.
They can't get any weapons traded to them. They'll have like
actually
maybe
so fucked.
one other person to trade mail to
Like
them.
one of the big benefits of hunters traditionally was that they could soak up all the mail gear you got.
Yeah.
So like that's a big benefit for them because obviously enhance and elemental are a bit
Question mark.
like the same issues Druid has, except arguably worse.
Yeah, pretty consistently as well. And yeah, hunters are kind of boned. They basically just can't get anything traded to them other than fucking trinkets and jewelry. Which is if you're an unlucky hunter, maybe just consider re-rolling. Especially if you're unlucky.
It's probably the pure with the least utility too.
Yeah, they don't have a buff.
Their immunity is the worst of the
This just turned into a Hunter Doom and Gloom episode really quickly. What are the classes? Obviously, we talked about rogues are kind of like Hunter Junior because they can at least be traded leather, but they can't be traded any weapons.
I mean, the class is just better.
And the class is just constantly like the best melee.
Yeah.
Despite rogues
And it's
complaining.
Like most of the time it's not close either. Like most of the time they use the best melee, and you like in a blind situation you just don't know who's gonna be like overpowered on damage, right? Like it's a pretty safe bet to assume the rogue is a safe shot.
Yeah, I mean rogue or warriors
And they have by
seem
far
like
the best utility from melee perspective.
I mean warriors are gonna be taken anyway, just because of buff. It's big for DPS at least. Like tank obviously not gonna take with the buff, but they already have like the huge execute niche.
What do you think the viability of Pharaoh's actually going to be?
If I had to guess, based on the limited information I have now, I would say we're basically in the same position as EN, where nobody's gonna play Feral, but we're actually gonna be like low key really good. Because I felt actually in EN we were super fucking strong, like underrated, but we were actually blasted.
Okay.
I think
Wasn't Pharaoh supposed to be like really good going into Antorus too?
I think
I
on
don't
Taurus
know,
we
but-
did really well. I mean,
I
again,
like,
people didn't
yeah,
play
I
us,
guess.
but
No, I think that's fair. I don't know. Like I think we were pretty good in Antorus if you look at the overall, but that's because AoE was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And especially like burst AoE, like Feral is actually insane at that, or well, was.
the brutal slash niche, especially when you sacrifice like fuck all single target, was super powerful. Man, that was a trigger. Fucking Moonkins talking about how they should be the ones doing the AoE because it's so efficient. Meanwhile, I'm like, I actually sacrificed no single target for this. Please just let me AoE. Brutal slash.
I mean, and then
You
there's
know, we gain damage by doing more single targets. Is the issue.
Feels good.
So it was efficient.
Yeah. But what do you think about Moonkin in BFA? Like, if you had to say now, where would you put it?
Where's my movement at?
Better than
Where's-
Alien Shadow.
Displacer beast. Fuck Tiger Dash.
I think we're better than Hunters too. But
Yeah.
I think we're notably worse than
To be
Mages and
honest,
Warlocks.
Our playstyle is fine. Our tuning is just so bad right
Oh,
Are
now.
you
yeah,
happy
no.
with the changes you got then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mostly.
it feels really smooth to play. The damage is trash ass awful right now. So Bora and I tested beta, and we were in the same group. And the top damage was like a Ret Pally, and on a single target fight, he did 35% more damage than Bora and I. I was
That's
like, I don't
yikes,
even know.
dude.
I was like, I don't even know what to say about that. I was like, do I even complain about tuning right now, or are we just awful?
What, you
I-
complained about tuning a week before the expansion?
I feel
No,
like
dude.
that's true for
Liz.
Feral though as well. Actually, like I think the playstyle is fine if they like the biggest issue with is AOE, and I mean if they just decided to like if I was a Blizzard right HQ and I just I can retune it, I would just like massively buff Brutal Slash, and I think the spec would be like now in viability, like 7-3 in viability.
I would nerf Lunar Shrapnel into the ground and then buff Starfall.
What, you mean you don't like that trait?
Dude, okay, so what's the deal with them wanting everybody to AoE on 3 targets? Like, what is that shit?
I mean, it's better than, like, Feral, we don't use Thrash until 5 targets.
Okay,
Apart from when
so
we use it on
balance,
single
But
targets.
that's just a balance.
Yeah.
no,
They want
balance is like worse off though, because balance is like, I only have one resource. Like, with Thrash, you can just use energy, right? And it regens pretty quick. I have to build, like, to drop a Starfall, and it takes me forever to get to 50 Astral Power to drop a Starfall.
Oh, just press
That's-
Fury of Elune.
Oh my god. Wish it was always up.
Feels bad. Shooting
Yeah,
stars,
I don't know. Like this AoE and 3 target seems to be one of those things they just go back and forward on. Like by the way, free cleave is horrible, and then it's like next expansion.
though.
everyone
Fury
is free
Warriors, by the way.
I feel like balance isn't like designed to be like that though. I think balance is definitely designed to be AoE on 2 targets.
cleave. Yeah, that might be. But
Just be-
multi-rating though.
Oh thank god. Yeah, no. It's not a fucking. Oh, balance is a multi-dot. I'm like, wait, what? That's not a multi-dot at all.
So we have
Two
Starfall,
fucking
dude.
dots. Awful.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes
yeah, no,
there are
they
some
should-
real
they should-
questionable things that come out.
I mean, I'm there. Okay, so in terms of like damage-wise, I would be concerned if they deleted Lunar Shrapnel, but I would understand why. But I'm just like looking at it like maybe they will actually delete this trait.
I mean, yeah. I don't understand how they haven't seen the problem with exponential AoE yet. It's
I mean, they deleted it for most other classes except for, and then I guess they added it back to Moonkin, added it to Moonkin, and then gave it to Fireman. Still has it, but
Yeah.
all the other classes don't anymore.
like they
Warlock
keep doing it,
doesn't.
and it keeps being a problem.
Yeah, Warlock doesn't, Monk doesn't. I don't know what other classes had it.
Enhance had
Legion
it
put
in.
Yeah, Enhance
What?
doesn't anymore.
Uh,
Yeah, with what was it like Fire Nova or whatever?
man, can you imagine if Enhance had Fire Nova in Legion? They actually would have been
yeah.
such a good spec.
Doesn't Protection Paladins have like exponentially scaling defensives or something? I don't know. It seems like they never
Oh,
learned that
Prop
lesson
Pal?
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking. I don't know enough about Prop Paladin.
It's a talent,
The
isn't
class
it?
is so
I don't
dumb.
know if it's good either, honestly.
Macro's
but
gonna
No,
yell
that
at me later, but
it seems dangerous when anything is exponential, honestly.
well, that's what because that paladin abused that to solo Garothi. Was it Garothi?
Well, there you go.
It might have been a different boss, but some paladin, I think Rex Troy, he just pulled a shit ton of trash, and then he pulled a
Soloed a
boss. Yeah, literally, it was like a 5-hour video, sped up,
What the fuck?
and just didn't die because he had a shit ton of trash hitting him.
That's a lot of dedication. But yeah.
I mean, but yeah, we wanted to keep this one short, didn't we? So
Oh, it's been a
Oh.
little bit longer.
it's been a whole 39 minutes, which is pretty short for
Alright.
a catch-out episode.
So who won
I mean,
Free pat.
I think
Obviously,
Golganeth.
Moonkin.
I mean, Feral.
No, no, let's be real. The real winner here is Zephyrus.
yeah, right.
You okay? I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Fucking Cephas, dude. Yeah, that secret wasn't very secret.
Secret was a lot of haste.
Yeah, a lot of haste. It's weird. Everyone likes haste now. Holy shit.
It's because nobody has haste.
Everyone likes haste.
It's
Crazy.
Yeah, it's because nobody has haste, and then they just didn't rebalance the game to where classes do want haste.
66%. I don't know about you.
You've got some haste there, dude. You've actually got like 10% more haste than me. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right, anyway, so with that, Sev one pre-patch, Balance and Feral are both big old question marks. Anyone who actually listened to like 40 minutes of us rambling should be commended, so if you got it this far, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed. We'll do another episode, which will, I guess, be a month into BFA, so we can talk about how that worked out. Thanks for Tettles and Nick for joining us today. Good fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
And I guess I'll see you in a month or in Dreamgrove.